Day one of Chicago Bears minicamp is in the books, and while we got plenty to look forward to in day two, what really caught everyone's attention weren't just the drills or formations. It was what Cole, Kmet, and DJ Moore had to say afterwards. Now look, this time of year always brings some level of optimism, especially when there's a new coaching staff in town. But there's something different brewing at Hallis Hall, something a little more intense, a little more detailed, and if we're being honest, a whole lot more demanding. And for what these players are saying, it's exactly what this team needed. Cole, Kmet, the tight end who's been a core part of this offense, finally stepped up to the podium for the first time this offseason. And you could tell the vibe around him has shifted. The first real media appearance since the team drafted Caleb Williams. And even though he admitted to being a bit surprised by that move, he didn't let that hang in the air too long. He talked about having a productive, honest conversation with offensive coordinator Ben Johnson not long after the pick, and you could hear it in his voice. He's not just accepting the new direction. He's locked in and ready to be part of it. But the moment that really stood out was when Kmet began talking about Johnson and this coaching staff. And man, he didn't hold back. He said what separates Ben from other coaches he's worked with is just how unbelievably detail-obsessed the guy is. Kmet said you feel in the meetings that every single moment is laser-focused on doing things precisely the right way. Now, he was quick to clarify. He's not saying other coaches weren't detail-oriented, but this is on another level. He called it an obsession, and not just any obsession, the kind where the coach literally cannot let it go until it's right. And honestly, you love to hear that from a guy like Cole. He's been around. He's seen what works and what doesn't. So when a veteran tells you this feels different, it means something. And it's not just words. Kmet gave us a real example of what this obsession with detail looks like in action. During one of the early practices, Ben Johnson reportedly got on him, loudly, for being slightly misaligned before snap. We're talking about maybe a yard off, maybe even less. It wasn't some big blown assignment. But for Johnson, that's not acceptable. And the best part is Kmet actually appreciated it. He said he was probably off by a yard, and that little mistake was hurting his own chances of getting the ball. He joked that Johnson was practically yelling, "I'm trying to get you the damn football." And that right there shows you what this is really about. It's not yelling to belittle or to dominate. It's about making sure everyone is in the best possible position to succeed. Because when you're off by a yard in this league, that could be the difference between a first down and punting, between 6 points and settling for 3. And when the stakes are that high, the details matter. That level of precision, that unwillingness to compromise on the little things, that's how culture is built. And that's how you turn a team that's been stuck in neutral into one that can make real noise in the postseason. Kmet said it himself, it's relentless. It's not a one-time correction. It's every single rep, every single play. Johnson is going to make sure you fix it, and then do it right every time after that. And sure, some players might find that annoying. You might hear guys complaining like, "Man, why is he on my case again?" But that's how you get better. That's how you raise the standard. And when everyone's held to that level, the margin for error disappears in a good way. You can already see that energy spilling over into other position groups too. DJ Moore, another guy who's been under the microscope lately, echoed similar feelings. He called this new environment fun, but intense. And that's a balance that's tough to strike. He made it clear. You've got to know your playbook, you've got to be sharp on your assignments, and you better not slack on your body language. That last one's important because if you remember, body language has become a bit of a hot topic around Chicago lately, especially with Caleb Williams being evaluated for how he reacts after sacks, how long he stays on the turf, stuff like that. DJ himself had his moments last year where fans and even some analysts questioned if he was fully locked in. So for him to come out and say that the coaching staff immediately addressed a body language issue during one of the first practices and that it was handled, period, that tells you everything. And DJ didn't dance around it. He said when he was asked how to avoid that kind of thing going forward, his answer was straight up, just don't do it. That level of accountability, that's rare, and it's powerful. It's not about embarrassing players or making examples for the sake of it. It's about making sure everyone, from the number one pick to the last man on the practice squad, is held to the same expectation. That's how you earn respect. That's how you build trust. And that's how you win games in December and January, when everything is on the line and one lapse in focus could cost you a season. The best part of all of this is that Johnson and the staff aren't just talking the talk. They're walking it. They're not giving special treatment to the stars. Kmet's already been paid. DJ Moore is making big-time money. And yet, they're getting coached the hardest. They're the ones being corrected in front of everyone. And that matters. Because if your best players are being held to the highest standard, then there are no excuses for anyone else. That creates buy-in. That gets rookies and undrafted guys to fall in line. It creates a culture where everyone's pulling the rope in the same direction. And let's be honest, that hasn't been the case in Chicago for a long time. Think back to the last few seasons. Toward the end of Matt Nagy's time here, things got stale. The energy dropped. The accountability wasn't always there. And while Matt Eberflus brought some structure, it never fully translated on the field. The Bears would start fast, then fade. Players would have great games, then disappear. There was never that sense that the standard was being enforced across the board. But now, from everything we're hearing, it feels different. You can see it in the way players talk. You can hear it in the tone. There's a seriousness, a competitiveness that wasn't there before. And yes, we're still in June. No games have been played yet. The real test will come when adversity hits, when you lose back-to-back games, or someone goes down with an injury, or the offense sputters for a few weeks. That's when we'll really find out what this coaching staff is made of. But for now, the foundation they're laying feels rock solid. And this is the exact time of year where those foundations have to be built. This is install season. This is the grind. This is when players learn the playbook, understand each other's tendencies, and start to develop that chemistry that carries into Sundays. You can't skip steps right now. You can't cut corners. And this staff isn't letting anyone do that. If you're a yard off your alignment, you're being told. If your energy isn't right, it's being called out. If your technique slips, you're doing it again. And that's the way it should be. And look, this isn't just about nitpicking or being a drill sergeant. It's about creating habits. Good habits. Championship habits. Because when October comes around and you're on the road in a hostile environment and it's third and short with the game on the line, you're going to fall back on those habits. You're not going to rise to the occasion. You're going to fall to the level of your preparation. And that's what Ben Johnson gets. That's why he's hammering the details in June. Because come January, those inches, those details, they'll decide whether or not you're still playing. You know what fires me up the most about all this? The tone is being set by the guys at the top, and the stars are falling in line. Kmet, Moore, even number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams. They're all being coached with the same intensity. There's no superstar bubble here. There's no free passes. You miss an assignment? You're doing it again. You loaf through a rep? You're hearing about it. And that kind of culture, that travels. That lasts. That wins. Now look, let's not kid ourselves. Every offseason, fans get hyped. Every year, there's a new narrative. A new breakout candidate. A new system that's going to fix everything. And the Bears have had more false starts than we'd like to admit. But this time, maybe, just maybe, the difference isn't in the scheme or the personnel. Maybe the difference is in the standard. Because when you start holding your top guys accountable, when no one's bigger than the team, and when every rep is treated like it matters, that's when the real change begins. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling around the Windy City as whispers suggest that Bears cornerback Nick McLeod may be regretting his decision to join the storied franchise. According to sources close to the player, McLeod has privately expressed dissatisfaction with his current situation, reportedly going so far as to call it my worst choice in reference to his move to Chicago. While McLeod has not made any public statements on the matter, those familiar with the locker room dynamic claim that his frustration has been growing steadily since the start of the offseason program. Speculation points to several possible reasons behind this alleged discontent, ranging from concerns about his role in the defensive scheme to doubts about the team's direction under the current coaching staff. Insiders suggest that McLeod expected a more prominent role upon signing, but has since been overshadowed by other emerging talents in the secondary. Some believe that the transition to a new city and a new system has not been as smooth as anticipated, leaving the 25-year-old defensive back questioning the decision that brought him to Chicago in the first place. Despite the noise, Bears officials have remained tight-lipped, neither confirming nor denying the rumors about McLeod's state of mind. Head coach and front office executives continue to publicly express confidence in the team's depth at cornerback, though the absence of a clear statement addressing McLeod's alleged remarks only fuels the speculation further. Teammates have reportedly noticed McLeod's quieter demeanor during practices and team activities, with some interpreting it as a sign of internal conflict. Others, however, caution against reading too much into body language, emphasizing that the grind of the offseason can weigh heavily on any player. For now, these rumors remain just that, rumors. Whether McLeod's supposed regret will translate into a request for a trade, or whether he will ultimately find his footing in Chicago, is anyone's guess. One thing is certain. In a league where perception often shapes reality, the buzz around McLeod's comments is bound to keep Bears fans and analysts on high alert as the season approaches. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.